I grew up gleaning with my mother, who was a child after World War II in Germany, and her family was very poor. My mother used this reality of scarcity later on in her life to glean all over the place, pretty much. And my parents are no longer poor, but my mother still has a relationship with this idea of scarcity. So I think that what my mother was motivated by, which I think has stayed with me, is some kind of a desire to not waste the food. It wasn't about us not having enough food. It was about this terrifying and motivating idea that there's perfectly good food out there going to waste.
You know, if you're someone like me who was brought up by Depression-era parents who like to save everything, you feel like you're really doing that for a good cause.
Because I also grew up in a family where, you know, we had to save everything and recycle everything, reuse everything. And, you know, at times my family received food from food banks. And so when I found out about this, I was like, hey, I can be a part of something that I grew up living in.
Right from the beginning, and no matter how small the farm was, it was obvious to me that there's a huge amount of waste. I mean, even on a 5-acre vegetable farm, when you're growing perishable foods, there's a huge amount of waste.
We were really impressed with how much produce was still left in the fields.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Well, I mean, I'm an environmentalist, and I like this idea of doing something to recover and not to let everything go to waste. I live that way, you know, I avoid waste.
I didn't know there'd be this much lettuce left behind.
Yeah, it's amazing to think now. I mean, we've taken a little piece of it, and the rest of it's all going to get disked back in.
I know. I want to bring a horse out here and let them chew for a while, too.
Do you have horses?
My father does.
I actually worked in Portland in a big health food store, one of those, you know, local chains, and if you work there, you're set. You can get all kinds of free stuff. But I was amazed at how much stuff did go into their composter, like, you know, how much organic bread. You know, trash bags full every day. And it would just be nice to see that stuff go elsewhere. I mean, if not to humans, pigs. Somebody can eat it, you know.
Apricot. Oh, yes. I told Belle some time ago that if they are not the size, they get dumped in big holes, gasoline, and burnt. And to me, that's a heartbreak. Because they're perfectly good. They're just as good as the others.
And folks are not invited to come and...
I don't know. Maybe, I don't think. You know, I think the rules are very stringent, that you would imagine that they could just cart them to hospitals, you know, old people homes and orphanages, and I mean, there's a lot of places where they could make excellent jam.
Especially with being green and sustainable today. You're always trying to reuse as many materials as you can. You know, someone's old rocks from, you know, an old quarry, or, you know, they knock down a building, now it could be a beautiful floor or something. So the new, it's imported from some other country, it's very expensive, a lot of freight with it. If you can come locally and find something of better quality that's already lasted 100 years, and you know you can put it in and make it last another 100 years, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, I'm definitely a dumpster diver, and you know, always trying to figure out some way to get things not to go into the trash, but somewhere else. I'll put things on Craigslist that maybe don't have a very obvious value, but it turns out some artist wants, you know, all the old slides that we're throwing away or whatever it is. So I really appreciate doing those kind of things.
Yeah, where do you dumpster dive? Where do you...
Oh, anytime I see a dumpster and I'm curious, you know, it's mostly if people are moving or something like that, you know, that kind of thing.
Mostly non-food.
That's correct. I used to do a lot of food dumpster diving, and I lived in Berkeley, and Monterey Market was fabulous. I mean, I could make a whole chowder, and there'd be big bags of bread from that day they'd stick in the dumpster at the end of the day, and I think they bagged it because they knew that people were going to take it. So that was really nice of them, you know.
I'm not really a hardcore dumpster diver. I'm more like an alley cruiser. I've gone with people who get into the dumpster, and that's kind of the moment at which I'm sitting in my truck with my Purell hand sanitizer, saying, "Can you not bring the stuff in here that I just cleaned my truck?" You know, that kind of a thing. So, or can you not put yourself in my truck after you've been waiting around the dumpster? So I'm not that hardcore in that way. Yeah. A boyfriend of mine, somebody I dated very seriously, who I lived with for 4 years, got me a beautiful flower on Valentine's Day, and he said he had to go very deep into the Bitterroot flower shop dumpster to get this perfect flower. And for me, that was actually a lot more touching than if he had just spent $6 or $8 on a flower, because it was like a war trophy or something.